Here's some good news. Rates have been stable over the last week. Hi, I'm your mortgage guy, Dave Steinberg, and this is Rate Watch. Every week, I bring you the news that you need to make better, more informed decisions when you're buying a home or getting a mortgage. Let's start with the rate stability. A week ago, we were very nervous about the way that rates were going. We thought that after some period of good news and rates improving, we were going to hit some rocky shores and have some problems. The good news is things stabilized and we're okay for right now. But there's a lot of stuff going on. So today is Thursday. Tomorrow, Friday, the Fed Chair, Mr. Powell, will be speaking in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And he's expected to give people a preview of his thinking relative to where rates should be going in the future. His thinking is very influential and that can move the market. The more important thing is that on September 17th, there'll be the next Fed Open Funds Committee meeting. And that will be a meeting where they'll determine whether to keep rates steady, drop a quarter, drop a half. And, the pundits are all over the place on this. Some people believe it's going to go down a quarter. The president is pushing for a big move. Hard to say what's going to happen. Even if you knew what the Fed was going to do, it's hard to know in advance how the mortgage market, the bond market will respond. What's going on today, if you're buying a house, if you're ready to go to contract, consider locking so you don't have to play this game of predicting the future. I had a conversation earlier in the week with a fellow who is running a marathon. What do I mean by that? For the last 2 years, he's been ready to buy a home, and all he needed to get there was to accumulate 20% down, because he believed that 20% down is what's required when you buy a home. Why does he believe that? Because that's what he heard. Well, I'm here to tell you that it's great to have 20% down. Hell, it's great to have 40% down. Hell, it's great to be able to buy the house without a mortgage. But let's be real here. The question really is, are you better off buying today or waiting until you accumulate enough money for the 20% down? Well, let's look at the past first. 2 years ago, he might have been able to buy a home for $500,000, which means he would have needed 20%, $100,000 for down payment plus closing costs. Now that same home is somewhere between $600,000 and $650,000, which means in order to put that same 20% down, he now needs $130,000 plus the closing costs. And he hasn't saved that extra amount. So he's behind the eight ball. What I advise my clients and what I advise you is don't hold out for 20%. If you can afford the home, if you have money for an acceptable down payment, buy the home. Don't try to keep on chasing, because as prices go up and up and up, the affordability goes down and down and down. So why do people believe that you need to put 20% down? Well, I'm in this business a very long time. And years ago, mortgage insurance was incredibly expensive. The good news is that mortgage insurance for people who are well qualified has become increasingly affordable. The other thing is that there's the FHA programs. And for well qualified borrowers, there's like an FHA elite kind of a product. That means that offers great rates. Sometimes 0.5% better than the standard Fannie Mae rate. There are solutions out there for people who are not putting down 20%. I'm not going to go into all of them, but there are lots and lots of solutions. If you're trying to decide whether or not to buy now or to wait, I can't tell you where the market will go in the future. Again, I'm not a futurist. I'm not in the prophecy business. But I can help you figure out if you can get approved for the home, if you can afford the home. And so let's have a conversation. I'm Dave Steinberg, and I'm here to help.